Hello everyone, it is I, Stephanie with Lindy Stitches. I am the designer behind Lindy Stitches. I design cross-stitch patterns that make people happy. You can find my work at lindystitches.com. Today I am here to share with you all things holly and jolly and fun. I took a short poll on my Instagram account asking whether you prefer short, focused FLOSSTUBE videos that are to the point, or long stitchy rambles, and long stitchy rambles definitely won out. I definitely go the other way as a creator of short and to the point. When I feel myself going on a ramble, I try to rein it in. So today my goal will be a little bit different than it normally is. I'm going to try to give you a nice, relaxing visit with a friend. And so that means I'm going to show you my new releases and the exciting new stuff at Lindy Stitches. And we're going to look at my projects, some things I've completed. And then I have, toward the end, books, and you will get to meet my new kitten, Willoughby. So just prepare yourself because he's super cute. New releases from Lindy Stitches are, as expected, all about Christmas and the holidays. So let's talk about it. I have 3 patterns and I have a new scissor holder. She has been in the works since, I want to say, April or May. Probably May is when I first drew her, and we've been working on her since, and she's finally ready to show, and I'm super excited. So let's start with my ornament set. This is the first release. It is called Cats Love Christmas. Here is ornament number 1. These were stitched before fabric was kind of hard to get, especially Picture This Plus. So they are all stitched on 28 count Picture This Plus mint. However, there are a lot of different mints and greens to choose from. I think these would look great on pretty much anything. So this is the first ornament, Cats Love Christmas. I don't know about your cats, but my cats know what's happening as soon as the Christmas tubs and totes come out and the tree starts going up. They go into full Christmas mode. So I stitched these with 4 Weeks Dye Works overdyes. You can see these 2 cats especially look nice with the overdyed cotton floss and the red and the green. So that's Cats Love Christmas. Here's the second one, which I think is wonderful. Cat Eviction Notice. Ho ho no. If your cat causes a little bit of trouble around the tree, this is for him. Post this notice, and I can't promise you that he's going to look at it, but it'll make you laugh when you see it. I love the cat's little frowny face. Adorable. And then here's the third, and I have ideas for a next set, so possibly next year. Accident-free days. And you can see that we had a nice little streak until this little sassy Jack knocked the tree over again. And I love how he's just like sauntering away because he don't care. He was doing his cat business in the tree. What is it, his problem that it fell over? So these are super fun to stitch, and they use the same colors kind of throughout. I'll show you the overdyes. Oops, that's... My overdyed floss packs are very similar for my 2 releases. So I'm gonna have to be very careful when I pack orders, but here are the floss colors for Cats Love Christmas. I chose, totally not purposely, these are the directions I lean with my reds and greens during the holidays. They're both a little bit on the blue side. This is not Chianti, it's Garnet and Cypress. I love those 2 colors together. And then I finished these with Sequoia and Chianti mini palm trim from Lady Creates. And you can find this pattern in my shop today, or your favorite local or online needlework shop, because my auto ship went out earlier this week. So we hung up a tree already. We are normally pretty strict about after Thanksgiving, but this year, you know, whatever. We bought this tree because it's pretty. It's a flocked pencil tree, and I just thought it was gorgeous, so we ended up picking it up, and it was like, what the heck? I have my pumpkins, crows, and turkeys out, and Christmas lights. I don't know what's going on. I'm not trying to understand current events, even in my own household. So these are so fun. I would love to hear what shenanigans your cats get into. On the back of the pattern, I talked about Walter's favorite shenanigans. It has a picture of Walter in his Christmas sweater, which is actually a dog sweater, because they don't make cat sweaters. But Walter is so tolerant, he doesn't even care. You can put a sweater on him. I wrote, my cat Walter adores the holidays. His favorite festivities include tripping people while they decorate the tree, because he gets so excited. He gets all up in your business, and then you're falling all over him. He loves squashing presents because he likes napping under the tree, and he does not care what he has to lay on to get under there. And he loves biting low-hanging ornaments. His favorite part is Christmas morning, when he insists on being buried in a giant pile of cast-off gift wrap. He keeps Christmas classy. What do your cats do around Christmas? Cats are hilarious. Just the change of circumstance and the fact that they have this gigantic tree in their environment. I don't know. Cats love Christmas. My second release is quirky. You know I like to keep it quirky. This one is called Mistletoe Littering Society. I would say a good 30% of my design ideas come with the words first. I love word combinations and thinking of new words to put together, and then I will create my design from the quirky words that I have concocted in my head. So Mistletoe Littering Society. Here's what this one looks like, and I love it. So this is just an eclectic group of people who are just trying to end up in the right place at the right time. A raccoon, a fish in a bowl, who got him there? I don't know. Some black cats, and a very classy penguin in a top hat. This is a quick, fun stitch. I love it. Used 4 Weeks Dye Works flosses in this one as well. Has the mistletoe on the top. And I finished mine into a pillow, much like Rooftop Cocoa Shop, but you can see it's a little bit bigger of a design. I stuffed this pillow firmer than I normally stuff things, and it turned out really nice. I kind of was packing it and thought, I'm gonna see how far this will go. And it feels really nice. So I finished it with some plaid that I bought at Joann Fabrics, petticoat lace, and licorice mini palm trim from Lady Creates, as well as pepper velveteen, and I don't know what says Christmas luxury more than some black velveteen. This is so nice. So that's Mistletoe Littering Society, which is hard to say. The idea from this came from just ambushing people under the mistletoe. Does your house do this? I don't know. It's one of our traditions. I hang it in the most frequented doorway of our house, and now that I'm looking at our new house, I'm like, not sure where I'm going to hang it. But you know, that kitchen doorway that everyone goes back and forth through, and we just ambush each other. I also like taking pictures under the mistletoe of people kissing. Is that weird? It's all consensual. Third release is my conclusion to my seasonal weather proverbs. This is the winter proverb. A bright Christmas foretells that hens will lay well. Here is Christmas in the coop. Love these fudge ripple chickens. I have got to use Gentle Art Fudge Ripple again. It looks kind of crazy in the skein, but boy does it make a great chicken. So you can find this in my shop as well. I also made a PDF package of all 4 seasonal weather proverbs. If you'd like to have all 4 and save a chunk of money, you can buy all 4 PDFs together. So that's A Bright Christmas. And now, the thing I am most excited to show you is Evelyn Scissor Mouse. So if you've been following me, you know that I created a scissor bird, and his name is Edgar. I only have a few Edgars left, and I am not sure when I'm going to reorder him. But this idea came to me, and here she is. Her name is Evelyn. And here's what we got. So I drew Evelyn up, both sides of her, and sent her to my woodworker, whose name is Dan. And she took a lot of figuring because she is different than Edgar. Edgar's scissors go through his head and the point makes his beak. Hers just rest on top, and so more figuring and configuring. But this is Evelyn. She is a similar size to Edgar, a little bit smaller. Of course, Edgar is whiter. I should go grab him. So here is Edgar, scissor bird, and you can see his size versus Evelyn, scissor mouse. So they're definitely similar sizes. Evelyn has a smaller base and she's going to take up less real estate wherever you set her just because of her dimensions. Edgar is the same on both sides and Evelyn has 2 different sides. So those are the differences. Edgar works best with some of these bird scissors, which are pretty common. You can find them really everywhere. Certain scissors won't work with Edgar. Evelyn is a little more versatile. All she needs is some scissors that are parallel on the top. So these kind of sit more diagonal. She just needs scissors that are parallel on the top where you can just create some cute little ears. Yeah, these are some DMC gold-plated scissors that I kind of designed her with her in mind, just to make sure the ears were the right proportions and that kind of thing. But she will work with a variety of scissors because her hole is nice and deep. One thing that's different as well is Edgar comes in one piece. He has a screw up the base into his body, and Evelyn is going to come in 2 separate pieces. So that's where she is. I wanted to talk a little bit more about her just because she's one product that I'm very proud of, but because of the way she is made, she has a lot of variations in her, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about that. Because she's made from natural materials, she is kind of imperfect, and that's one of the reasons why I don't wholesale my scissor holders, because I'd rather deal with the imperfections myself. So she has a lot of variations. She's made out of ash and cherry wood, and I forget which one is which because I'm not the wood person, but look at the color difference. And customers have noticed that Edgar can kind of come in two separate colors, and this is just the way the wood works. It has two different tones, and sometimes you get smudges, you get kinks, you get imperfections because it's wood and it's not perfect, and also the laser process is not perfect. So I'd rather deal with those kinks and imperfections directly with my customers, if that makes sense. I do reject some of my scissor holders, and I kind of collect them into a group. The ones that I think I would be a little disappointed to receive in the mail, for example, there was a mouse that looked like she had a black eye because she had like some sort of wood knot or something right on her face. So I collect those, and once I have 5 or 6 of them, I put them on sale as misfits and ragamuffins. But I go through all these and make sure that they are beautiful and something that I would want to use and display on my sewing table. I think she is as cute as a piece of pie, and I hope that you like her too. So that's Evelyn Scissor Mouse. She is in my shop right now, and I have a limited quantity for my first batch. She comes in a little gift bag, little organza bag with a certificate of adoption. And you could definitely affix her so that, I mean, nothing is gonna happen like to her, but if you wanted for whatever reason to put some wood glue in there, it fits pretty tight, but that's an option as well. So Evelyn Scissor Mouse would love to know what you think about her down below. Other Lindy Stitches patterns that are in my past Christmas canon, really quickly. God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. I love this piece, still think it is very classic. You know, sometimes as a young designer, I look back on past work and I'm like, ew. I love this one. Rooftop Cocoa Shop was last year. Reindeer's taking a little mid-work break. Stocking Stuffers set of these adorable swans in their modern stockings. And that's it. I will just freely admit that I struggle with Christmas as a designer. I don't know why. Fall, I have way too many ideas. Christmas, it makes no sense to me. I do like the color palette of Christmas. I like the subjects of Christmas. I don't know why I struggle to come up with ideas that I like and feel are good enough to release, but that's this year's lineup. I hope that you like it. I think that's all the shop talk I had to make. Last time I did a video, I did it live. I did a live update, kind of spur of the moment, so it wasn't scheduled, no one was warned. I just went live on YouTube to see how it would go, and I really liked the process of just sitting down and doing the video and being done with it. It goes on YouTube. I just fill in the information box. It wasn't nerve-wracking like I thought it would be, but I was a little bit disappointed. While I was encouraged that it was so easy to produce, no editing, no nothing, I was disappointed in the way that YouTube posts live videos after they're done being live was a little bit weird, and I felt like it affected my views negatively. So if you didn't see my last video, it is on my channel, but I talked about a release that I made a few weeks ago called Dumpster Fire Friends Forever. And just because that video suffered, I wanted to make sure that you saw this new release as well, a testament to the year that we've lived through, but a tribute to the friends who have gotten us through it. So that's Dumpster Fire Friends Forever, and it's in my shop. I just realized I forgot to mention what fabric this is on, in case you care. This is Blue Whisper Vintage Linen by Zweigart, also in my shop. So if you're wondering about project details, you know where to find them. I need to not be annoying. All right, one other thing that I would like to mention is that I am doing a 2021 stitch along, and it is going to be a small, sweet project that I think you're going to like if you enjoy my patterns. It is called Funky Menagerie, and it is a small project that has, I keep counting them and forgetting, I want to say 32 or 33 little funky animals. It is a square design, all DMC, and I think it's going to be a very easy cell to keep up with, if keeping up with cells is something that you care about. It is going to be released, I'm thinking December 31st, and each month you will get a quarter of the pattern, so only 4 months long. It's easy, it's really cute, and I was thinking the other day, it might make a great nursery pattern. I am past that point in my life where I think about decorating a baby's nursery, but I think this is a really sweet nursery piece. Or if you're just an animal lover like me, a really nice piece to hang on your wall because you're awesome for liking animals. So I'm just going to show you the corner of it, and I'm going to try to be careful. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go. No, be careful. Okay. This has a lot of little creatures that I have never seen stitched before, including things like a squid, a capybara, and there's some things that I can't wait to show you, but I'm not sure how much to mention at this point. I just wanted to put it in your brain pan in case you were planning out your next year. Oh boy, if we can even do that. If just, you know, it's going to be cheap, it's going to be fast, it's going to be fun, and you can see the motifs and even the border are pretty quick stitches, all DMC. That's Funky Menagerie. If you are not signed up to my newsletter, I would really recommend that you do that. That's where I drop a lot of news. If you would like the most intimate look at what's going on behind the scenes at Lindy Stitches, I would recommend you join my Facebook group called Lindy Stitchers. I'll put the name on the screen. I often, mid-design, go over on Lindy Stitchers and just like put out a juicy tidbit. So if you want my juicy tidbits. Okay. Let's talk about what I finished since I saw you last. I only completed one thing, but it was a lot of fun. I completed my Mill Hill Buttons and Beads kit called Fa La La Llamas. And this has been my travel piece for far too long, so I wanted to go ahead and finish it up. These are a lot of fun. They are complete kits. I bought mine at Fancy Works. Since then, I have put some Fa La La Llamas in my shop just because I'm working on it and I'm promoting it, and I have a Witchold account, so I wanted to spread the llama love. So I ended up, you can stitch these in hand. The paper is stiff enough to just do the whole project, no problem. But because it was my travel project, my perforated paper was getting pretty beat up because I tended to just throw the project bag in anything, it was getting squashed and all that kind of stuff. So I ended up putting them on this project on 6-inch stretcher bars, and that worked out really well. I could put this in my Lowry stand and just two-hand stitch the rest of the piece. I got yeah, they have a lot of stitching in them. They are full coverage, and so don't be deceived about them being quick little stitches. They are robust projects, and I thoroughly enjoyed this because I feel like you can really see the shininess of the beads. All the beads, so much fun. If you have never beaded before and you want to, my first beading project was a chatelaine, but if you're the type of person who likes to work new skills in slowly instead of jumping in head first, I think the Buttons and Beads kits by Mill Hill would be a great first beading experience. They come with different sizes of beads, and you also put the beads on in different ways. So some of them get put on with a half stitch, so you just go through the bead once, and that makes it lay diagonally. And other beads you go through twice, and that makes it lay square. But this is so much fun. Another nice thing about the Buttons and Beads kits from Mill Hill is Mill Hill makes a very inexpensive frame for you to put your projects in. I forget how much they cost, but they're very affordable. And then they also in the pattern tell you what colors would go with your project. So this is their periwinkle blue frame, which I need to order one. I haven't decided on what color I want to use, but they will give you different options of what color you can order, and then you just literally slip your project in the frame and hang it on the wall. So super easy finishing too. So that was a fun finish. I need to get that in a frame so I can display it for Christmas. So let's talk about what I've been working on. I was feeling the Christmas spirit pretty early this year and totally gave into it because I knew what I had planned was going to take me a while, and indeed, it is taking me quite a while. Here is Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. I started this last year and decided I was just going to do one block every December. So this is going to be a very long-term project, but it seemed to break this really, really huge piece up into a manageable size. Now, I decided I was only going to do 9 blocks, although I might change my mind as this project goes on. I decided this was going to be what I was going to go for. But unbeknownst to me, last December, we moved this year. And so I wanted the block for 2020 to be one of the house blocks. So I picked this one, which wasn't even in my plan. But you can see that this is a pretty full coverage block. These blocks are, I think, 91 by 91, something big and huge like that. The other problem was last year's block, the peacock, didn't go so hot. And throughout the year, I would be going through my stitching stuff and I would pull it out and look at it and think, yeah, this is not looking good. At some points, I thought about just totally ditching this project because I wasn't very far into it. But the problem is not the pattern. The problem is my fabric. I chose a weird fabric. And then I didn't adjust the color palette to suit my weird choice of fabric. This is Cappuccino by Weeks Dye Works. It's 36 or 37 count. I forget which one. But I'll just show you the peacock block. The peacock block looks okay, but I was just not jiving with it. When I pulled it back out, I really knew that this was the color that was bothering me so much. This is DMC 407, and it is just this like pucey browny pink, which looks really great. You know, there's some funky colors in this piece, which is why I like it. I think it has a really interesting color palette, but when you change the fabric, some things are not going to go right. So I ended up ripping out a lot of that pink and replacing it with more of a clean, not brown pink. I didn't replace all of it. I just replaced some of it. And then I thought, you know what? I'm am just overthinking. I think once I have more blocks, I will not be so hard on this one. So I moved on, and now I have started this house block. And you can see I definitely adjusted the colors because this house is supposed to be that brown pink color, and that was not gonna fly. So I changed it to a color in cotton called Rainbow Fish, and I think this project already looks miles better. I have been steadily working on this for over 2 weeks. These things are huge. They just take so long. So I still have to fill in all this. I still have to put things in the sky. So I'm glad I started early. That's Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. And I'm now rejuvenated about this piece now that I've veered off the road with the colors. And I think I'm going to enjoy just pulling this out. And the further I get, the more I will enjoy the prospect of warm Christmas stitching. So last week I had a hard day. I just had a hard 2020 COVID election, not seeing eye to eye with people sort of day. And I decided to have an emotional start. I started Sheep May Safely Graze by Homespun Elegance. And this is a really sweet piece. About a month ago, my friend Janine McGowan mentioned that Cece from the Thread Gatherer had put like grab bags and bits and baubles bags in her Etsy shop, and I went and grabbed one, and I ended up with a big nice chunk of silk. It's not time for your introduction yet. A big nice wad of various colors of silk. I got a ton of silk and pearl and like a skein of flax thread. I don't really know what that's about yet, but anyway, I decided to just, these are fun. I think if you ever find some sort of grab bag or unnamed bag of stuff, if it's within your budget, and I think they're fun just because there's no responsibility or risk factor. It just, I don't know, it's just inspiring. I don't know what I'm talking about. Here is Sheep May Safely Graze. I think it looks so pretty. So that is a dark green. So lovely. I am sort of going with some inspiration from the pattern, but kind of going off the beaten trail. My favorite thing about this is that big sheep in the middle with the eyelets, which I'm saying right now is going to be fun, but that sounds like famous last words. I worked a wee bit on my ink circles after the roses, but not really much to blab on about. I tried to force myself to finish a corner and then gave up. I don't know what my problem is. Maybe this just feels summery to me. This piece feels summery, and it's definitely not summer anymore, which makes me a bit sad. The cats are coming out, and I hope they're really not convinced it's lunchtime, because it's definitely not. Giveaway. Really quickly, here are the winners from my last pattern, my live stream pattern. I got 3 Liz Matthews to give away. Quaker Pumpkins goes to Cleta Waldron. Sleepy Hollow goes to Erin Zafonte. And First Day of Christmas goes to Steno Stitches. So I replied to your comment, but just in case you don't see it, that is who won. That's who won the patterns. And Willoughby is going to show you our giveaway for this. say hello to the people. Say, what are we doing? I don't know. He just woke up from a nap. You know, kittens have 2 modes. The modes are, I'm sleeping, or I'm playing with everything in the world, leave me alone. That's what mode he's in right now. So Walter decided to sign 2 of these patterns. It was lunchtime. I had a big box of Cats Love Christmas to ship out to my shops. And sometimes when Walter feels like he's being ignored and his needs are extremely desperate, even though his bowl always has food in it, he will do something annoying to punish me. So I was ignoring him, and he decided to, I don't know if you can see his signature, he decided to sign 2 of these patterns. It doesn't affect the pattern itself. It's just Walter's tooth mark in the plastic. And I thought, well, I'm sure there's some crazy cat cross stitchers out there who won't care that my cat bit these 2 patterns. So if you are interested in winning one of these Walter approved copies, I will ask you to tell me about your cat's holiday shenanigans in your comment. Maybe use the word shenanigans, and that's what I'll search for, and I will give away these 2 copies from my shop. Let's talk books. Let's see if I can hold these 2 off a little bit longer. I have not had a great reading year, but I've found some gems, and so I will mention them now. I have fiction and nonfiction for those of you who like reading. I've taken to buying books again a lot. When we first got married, we bought books like it was going out of style and wanted to build our library. Got to a point where, like, why are we buying all these books? Sometimes we don't even read them. Sometimes we only read them once and they're just sitting there. And so I've been mostly borrowing books, but I've gotten back to buying them from the thrift store only because it takes me so long to read a book nowadays that I get the overdue notices from the library. And while my library has dropped fines, which is awesome, it makes me feel like a bad person. So I've been trying to just buy a few books from the thrift store to have on the shelf where if I need a new read, I can just go pick it up. It only costs me a couple dollars. I can donate it back, and it's no big deal. So that's how this one came into my life. I thought it looked good, and indeed it was very good. It is Commonwealth by Ann Patchett, and I had never read anything by Ann Patchett, but I had seen this book around. This spans 5 decades of one family, and I am kind of turned off right away when I hear that kind of narrative. I tend to think a lot of people, long and boring, but this is not boring by any means. It also does another thing that annoys me. It switches point of view and goes from person to person through different times. And a lot of times when authors do that, I think, oh, can you please just like stick with the story, like linearly, you know what I'm trying to say. This is really good. Shed a few tears at the end. I loved being with this family, and I loved each new story, each new like hop of person and environment is really engrossing and really builds this whole picture of this family's experience. Super good. My husband teased me because it's a large print edition, and he said that the astronauts in the International Space Station were enjoying this book as much as I was reading it. Poetry. This was inspired by my friend Linda at Blue Horse, Yellow Cow. I will link her down below. This is Robert Bly, Talking into the Ear of a Donkey. I read a poem from this on my Instagram live when I was doing a few in the morning, some poetry reads. This has a lot of gems in it. I really enjoy Robert Bly, want to read more of him. He's luscious. Highly recommend. He wrote this he's a very old man right now. And he wrote this while he was an old man. So it's very reflective, it's very sentimental, emotional, all the feels. Here's my current reads. This one is interesting. This is called No Such Thing as a Bad Kid. Strange. It's a thick book. It is by Charles Applestein, and I got turned on to this book because I was in a video virtual conference where Charles Applestein was speaking, and he is a man who works with troubled children, children in the foster care system, children who have experienced trauma, who are really not doing well. And he has a long history of doing that. And I have really benefited from this book, and I really benefited from his speech. If you have any children in your life who, for whatever reason, are not thriving, are living in frustrating circumstances, or even just frustrating you personally, I think that this is a great book to thumb through. I'm reading it kind of slowly because I really want to implement the things that he's talking about and think about how I can be a more positive, supportive, resilient person for the troubled children in my life. I got sworn in as a CASA volunteer, that is court-appointed special advocate, but I have a personal history with personal experience, friends in the foster care system as well, and things in my own life on a daily basis where I need to remember the things that I'm learning in here. So if that touches any of your situation, I really recommend this. I've highlighted a lot. All right, here's another one I'm reading. Okay, one of my favorite genres is, and I have read books like this for so long, I love books about productivity. I love books about habits. I love books about creativity and entrepreneurship. Like, those are some of my favorite books to read. And I have heard this book referenced so many times. I should have read it years ago, and yet I didn't. This is so good. Atomic Habits by James Clear. I mean, people refer to this like it is the Bible about habits, but I am telling you, it's for a good reason. I'm only this far in, and I am underlining on every page because this is so insightful. Even if you are a disciplined, self-controlled person who thinks they use their time well, who thinks, you know, there's some areas I could improve, but I don't know. This is so good. It's so insightful. Like, there are things that I do and experience that I didn't even realize until I read this book. I mean, so many good tips about engineering your environment so that you're doing the things that you want to be doing and not doing the things that you don't want to be doing. I mean, isn't that all what we want? We want to be doing the things that we want to do. We want to be becoming the people that we want to become. And yet, sometimes we just get stuck in these bad habits. So good. Highly recommend. Very easy to read. And then, because I enjoyed Ann Patchett so much, I'm reading Bel Canto, and I am not very far into this, but it talks a lot about, so far, it talks about opera, and that just reminds me of Bart. Bel Canto, very good so far. That's my book talk. I hope you enjoyed. I feel a little bit weird when I veer off the subject of stitching because I don't know how many people I lose when I veer off, and That's why I tend to just stick to short, focused videos. But I do know there's great value in just being together, just listening to your friend talk. That's, I really need that too. Sometimes I don't care what people are talking about. You hear what I'm saying? So let's talk about my cats. All right, so here's Mr. Willoughby, who is currently purring. I don't know if you can hear that. He is 12 and a half weeks old. He is 3 pounds, and he is super cute. He is a typical kitten, so he has 2 modes, one of which is sleeping, the other of which is playing with everything in the universe. Am I right, buddy? He's been so fun. So favorite things, the ear tufts, definitely. He's growing in his Maine Coon beard. He's super wiggly right now, so he doesn't want me to show you his best features. And the tiny white tail boop. You're not going to sit with me, are you? You going to sit with me? He's doing really well. We introduced him to Walter using tried and true cat introduction advice from Jackson Galaxy. He is a cat expert here on YouTube. He has a TV show, I think called My Cat from Hell, where he goes and solves people's cat problems. Walter wants to make an appearance too. Come here, buddy. So, we didn't allow them to see each other. We kept Willoughby in the basement, and Walter could tell if something was up. And while he is incredibly tolerant, never batted an eye at all the dogs that we fostered. We'd bring a dog home, and he'd just look at it he knew he was in charge, but he knew there was a cat in the house, and he wasn't happy. So we made the process really long, and really long as in a week, but it felt really long. The first time they saw each other, we did the whole swapping thing where they both got to smell each other's territories and what's this guy all about? They didn't see each other until we put a baby gate and opened the door. And Walter's first few days of seeing Willoughby and being in his presence had hissing and growling. That kind of slowly diminished. Then they were kind of playing next to each other. And soon enough, they were snuggling and kind of best buds. So we were very thankful, because I know sometimes cats just forever do not like each other, and Walter's tolerant personality won the day. So we couldn't be more thankful. They really do everything together, and Willoughby loves Walter more than he loves anyone else in this house. He's always aware of what Walter is doing and mimicking him. He wants to eat right next to him. He wants to sleep right next to him. He's all about it. And Walter has lost some weight just because he's getting more activity. And while he only plays 2% of the time that Willoughby plays, he is interested in watching Willoughby frisk about and explore the world. So they're really enjoyable together. It's almost 3 times the amount of cat fun. It's not 2 times, it's 3 times, because they're together, and every time I can't tell you the amount of comfort that they've brought, and just being able to talk about them and take pictures of them, and every time they do something cute, it's an occasion for the family to gather about, and it's just been really precious. So happy to have this little dude in our lives, and he's growing astronomically. His dad, who we got to meet, I was so glad that we got to meet his little family. Because of COVID, we were planning on the breeder wanted to just do the exchange outside, and I was so bummed because I wanted to meet the other cats, and she couldn't find him. He was sleeping in a little nook in the house, and so we went to pick him up, and we were waiting and waiting and waiting outside, and she's like, I'm so sorry, I can't find him. I know he's in here somewhere. Go ahead and come on in. So we kind of just like hovered in the doorway, but Maine Coons are incredibly social. I'm gonna turn the camera around because they're fighting and it's funny. So one of the features of Maine Coons is that they're incredibly social. They love being around humans. So most cats, when you have company over, will disappear, but Maine Coons will come out to be with people. So as soon as we were in the house, all the Maine Coons came out to meet and greet us and wanted to be pet, and so we got to meet his mother and his father is a magnificent beast of a cat. He is so tall. The breeder told us that he can actually reach the light switches when he stretches up against the wall. That's how tall he was. So it's so pretty, and so yeah, we're so happy to have this experience of watching Willoughby grow, and also, you know, Walter's life got a lot more interesting, as I'm sure you can see. The play fighting especially is very distracting if you're trying to do something else like sit and quietly read a book. They can get very loud and very rambunctious, and we haven't had any instances where they've actually hurt each other, but this is what they like to do. They like to play bite each other 45 times in a row until someone gets sick of it and leaves. If you just made it through all that cat chat, you must be one of my 3 top fans, because I'm sure there's only 3, maybe 2 of you left. I've probably bored everyone else utterly to death. I can't believe we're here at the end of the year. I was just thinking my next video is probably going to be my yearly wrap-up, and that is crazy to me. This year has felt so long and yet so strange. I don't know. You know where I'm at. You know exactly where I'm at. So thanks for keeping me company. I hope that you're subscribed to my newsletter. I'm going to have a Black Friday shindig, and so make sure that you sign up below. I also will probably have a coupon code listed down below if you would like to head on over to my shop for my new releases: Cats Love Christmas, Mistletoe Littering Society. Really should have practiced saying that out loud more often. Anyway, be well. I hope that you are thriving in these hard times. If not, I'm right there with you. Catch you later, friends. Ta-ta for now. So, Willoughby, oh my gosh, loves veggie straws. And I cannot eat them without him completely spazzing out. You ready? Get down, crazy coon. You ready? You want it? Yeah? Go get it.